on just what I have found. This is, as far as I know, this is the fastest workflow I could find for making chord charts from scratch. I use these for choir. They're choral octavos. They don't have a chord chart. They're special arrangements that very often are different from the recorded versions. I can start from the recorded version sometimes, but usually they're very detailed and they're different. And anyway, I've had issues with making two-column versions of these. You run into issues when you try to make things two columns if you're not using Chord Pro. So you'll notice here I've got my chords in line in brackets. The B flat chord and the D minor 7 chord here are in line in brackets. This format's called Chord Pro. And what one thing Chord Pro allows you to do is put in the breaks. So if I do this, you'll notice now I've got a mess over here on the right side with my chord chart. The problem with this is that on the front end, Chord Pro can be a slower way to do chord entry. So what I do, I don't have a Chord Pro editor downloaded. I kind of do a back end thing where I go to Praise Charts and I go into one of my songs I purchased and I open the editable window here. And one feature that this has is you can switch between Chord Pro and chords over words. So much faster entry for chords is to do this, where you can add a progression in, and then this progression is the same on this line with a quick edit for that, and then it's going to be the same on the next verse. And so you could save a lot of time if you enter chords over words. You can just kind of enter all the chords for a line and then space them out and just space down to the word or syllable where they belong. So to me, this is much faster for raw entry of chords. Again, the problem is if I take this and I paste this into, I don't know, let's say I'm, I can't mess this up. Okay, but if I paste it in here and then I choose my the two column option here, you'll notice that I've got two columns selected. Okay, so when you select two columns, you get all these messed up things if you don't have, when you start pasting in, you'll have stuff like this. So I'll just show you real quick. Okay, so you get issues like this with your two column. Now, if you're using chords over words, you can't actually just hit enter. You'd have to hit enter, and then you'd have to actually go in and also copy your chords and repost them over the new line. So it's just clunky. It takes a little while. So I've found that on the front end, if I edit, I guess you could do the same thing in a Chord Pro editor. I just use Praise Charts. I buy a lot of chord charts from Praise Charts, and they're great. But their Chord Pro editor's great because you can switch from chords over words to Chord Pro. Okay? The only problem with this is that when I switch to Chord Pro, it does create these things with these brackets. You can see I don't know what you call these pointy brackets. Okay? But what I do with those is I usually I'm going to copy these and I'm going to just drop them into a new document like this. And then I'm just going to use the word processor find feature. Okay, and this is just docs. You could do this in Word or, traditional whatever. But if I leave this blank and hit replace all, it'll take those out. Workflow-wise, this takes about 30 seconds. Okay, so I'll do the same thing with the other bracket on the end. So I selected this bracket. I've got it here. I'm going to replace it with nothing. So I'm leaving this blank. I'm going to hit replace all. Now they're all gone. Now I can control a copy and paste this in to my lyrics and chords page for the song that I'm trying to edit. Okay, so now I've got something I can paste in, and as I'm pasting it in, it's in Chord Pro format, and now when I enter, I can go ahead and what it'll look like when I first paste it in, because I'm not two column yet. I did it the easier way to enter the chords in the beginning. It's gonna look like this, and I'm gonna have all this stuff, like all of this is really messed up. Well, like this is messed up. This is unreadable. Okay, so it just a lot of editing if you're doing chords over words, because this Planning Center Services will allow you to do chords over words. So I could paste chords over words, but I'm going to have a lot more time editing if this is in chords over words format. But with Chord Pro, I can hit enter, and I can in an additional 3 or 4 minutes, I can hit enter, and I can make a nice one-page, 2-column version. You'll notice I've got a page break in a column break in here, but this is pretty basic. I'm not doing anything really complicated, but this is the fastest workflow I've found for doing this. And again, if I ran into a problem, there's something serious that needs editing, I'm going back here. If I need to put entire progressions in, a whole series of chords, it's just so much easier to edit chords like this. Okay, so I'm not as familiar with Chord Pro editors. If you know of something that's easier than this, please leave something in the comments, and I'd be happy to hear about it. This is all I know as a music leader at a church, doing this and trying to not take hours and hours to do this every week for arrangements of songs that do not have existing chord charts. I can't buy them; they don't exist. I have to create them somewhat from scratch. A lot of these songs don't even have a quote regular version. They don't even exist. They're just, they're choir specials. So we have to kind of create these out of whole cloth. So I hope that helps somebody else out there. I just have kind of worked this up, and I thought it was a pretty good workflow. So thanks.